I'm now logged into the browser-based tool, so you only need a certificate and your password to log in. And then you have several possibilities to submit your inside information. So for example, if I'm an asset owner or I operate an asset, then I can submit an outage or a non-usability. So I will click on new non-usability and will set an event ID for an event. And then you can choose different mandatory fields which are defined by the regulation. So for example, this is a test environment, so there are some test data here that we assume we have a wind offshore farm, and there are currently 90 megawatts unavailable. It is a planned maybe maintenance window with the event start and the event end. And the reason is maintenance, and the status of the event is active. And if we like, we can add some further notes for explanation. So for example, scheduled maintenance on the wind turbine. Afterwards, if I finished all fields, I can submit the message, or if I want to go a little bit more in detail, so there's also possibilities to submit a profile. So if the non-usable capacity fluctuates over time, but that is a little bit detail, I will send only this message and click on send. And then the browser-based tool will create an XML file in the background and will just send to our web service. Normally, the publication takes place in some seconds, so it's near real time. On the downside, on the right, you will find or see a little pop-up in green, which means, okay, your message was successfully submitted. So it's a little feedback. And on the left side in the navigation, you can see under non-usabilities that we have submitted for power production and non-usability, highlighted with this little one. And then you will find an overview with all non-usabilities you have submitted to the platform. And as you can see on the top, there's a little green light which shows, okay, everything well, your message was processed, you entered it correct, and it is published now. And you also see if something went wrong. For example, you entered or a big non-usable capacity which is not comparable to your master data. So if we go back to our example with our wind offshore farm, it's now published, and I also have the possibility with this little button to edit this. So for example, to say, yeah, it will take something longer, and only at the date, submit, and then a new update will submit it to the platform really easily. And the second thing which I would like to show is that beside the non-usabilities, for example, for power plants, we also have an ad hoc ticker, which is basically a text message. So ASA would categorize this as other market information, any information which probably could influence the price, but is not an outage for power or gas power plants or something like this. And it's probably the same thing. So we have to enter an event ID for the event, and then we can enter any message which we categorize as inside information or which is be important to make it public. So for example, we schedule to build a new wind farm with an installed capacity of. Then we can set a start date, if available, an end date, but this is not a mandatory field. Status is active, and we will, as before, submit the message. It is sent and submitted successfully, and we also have the possibility to edit this message. The login, just as for information, is based on certificate, so it's really secure. And as last point from my presentation of the tool, I would also like to show you that there are some features which are really helpful. So you have some hints about how to use the tool, how you can enter it. You have contacts, and in addition, on the upper left side, there's a timer, so we know that this inside information is a critical tool. And if the dispatcher does forget to log out, the tool will log out for yourself after a certain time. So that's the tool, pretty easy, pretty cool. And as I said, it's only one example. You can also connect directly to our web service. Yes, and this is the contact details. So happy if you are interested or have any question, feel free to contact our team. And thank you for your attention.